Okay, so you cut me off last time.
Sometimes you need to be cut off. Oh, are we talking? I'm sorry. What are we talking about?
Sex.
Let's talk about sex, baby.
So somebody had said to me one of their frustrations in their relationship was that they had a very different sex drive than their partner.
How could that possibly happen?
I'm sure it's never happened to anyone that listens to this at all.
Oh my God. No one on earth.
And so we started talking about, Venus and Mars, right? That women want to connect. That's why they have sex. Men, it's more physical. So men. So if I have a higher sex drive than you, and how do I help you want to have more sex with me? Why are you laughing?
Because I'm thinking. I don't know. By the way,
if it's men, it's physical, right?
So make it more of a physical thing.
Sexting?
Sexting would be fun. Yeah. Nothing wrong with that. As long as it's with your partner.
Yeah. Committed.
Committed partner.
That you trust. Sexting.
Gotta find one I trust.
Stop it. How else? Sexy lingerie?
Yeah. I think there are men that really get into that, and then I think there are men that's not that big of a deal. I mean, I think it's learning what your partner, what turns on turns your partner on. So that takes communication. It takes talking
to see what turns them on.
Yeah. It takes the guys doing what they don't like necessarily doing, which is talking. And
how can someone not want to talk about sex? I mean, that's what I don't get. I work with so many couples, and you bring up the word sex, and it's like, yeah. How can you not talk about what is so yummy to your partner? How can you not want to know?
It's insecurities. I think if you're talking to clients, and then gentlemen's there, they may think that there is something wrong with them. That's why they're there. Where the woman may be there talking to you because they see you helping them. So the guy may be thinking, oh my God, these dogs are driving me crazy, by the way. They're chewing on their bones. But so the guy may be thinking, I'm going to be judged. I can't, why can't I do this on my own? And why are we even talking to this person?
Because they don't talk about sex. They don't talk about sex. Couples don't talk about sex. They don't talk about money, except in the negative. So,
we're not putting sex and money together, are we?
No.
Okay.
Well, the two main reasons why people divorce. But, why wouldn't you want to sit and talk about each other's sexual fantasies and talk about what makes you go yummy, yummy, yum?
Because I think there is judgment in relationships, and I think a lot of people may start to talk about sex with their partner, and then their partner reacts negatively to maybe something they say.
Okay, so their sexual boundaries are different.
Right.
But see, these are the conversations that need to be had before you even, you get married. So...
Well, there's a lot of conversations you should have before you get married.
Yeah, but, places, sex and money, again, two big reasons why people divorce, and I think two main reasons why people divorce is because their boundaries are so different with both of those things, and then they don't try to talk it through, because one is usually a spender and one is usually a saver, and the saver judges the spender and the spender judges the saver. And then with regard to sex, we have, the person who's like, I'll try anything, and then the other person that goes, oh. Right?
You'll try.
It's cold in here.
You'll try everything. It's cold in here.
It's cold in here.
Nice.
So,
nice full pull.
But it's important to know that, because when your boundaries are so different, either in sex or in money, and actually even in parenting as well, then someone's always going to either be submitting or not having their needs met, and it just doesn't work well. I mean, you and I were both in relationships that our boundaries were so different and we were judged.
Yes. So I think that sex is just like using the word, maybe this is going to be good, or maybe it might not be, I don't know. I'm going to try. So, using the word, I love you.
Yes. Which I said first.
Yeah, you did. And
I
win. Yes. In the I love you first competition.
It's always a competition.
But I think there's always going to be somebody in relationship that's going to say, I love you more. There's going to be someone in a relationship that is doing the laundry more, or is doing the dishes more, or is doing yard work more. There's always going to be somebody that's doing more than the other one. And then there's always the one that's doing it, going to the other one going, I'm doing this and you're not doing that. I think it's the same sort of thing when it comes to sex.
Explain, Lucy.
I just did. All right,
you didn't explain it with regard to sex. You explained it with regard to other things.
So there is one person whose desires might be more. And they're expecting the other person to have the same desires, the same amount of desires.
Okay.
So when it's not met, then maybe not on purpose, but they may. All right. So one person may make the other person feel guilty. Like, look, I have this drive, and why don't you have drive? Male or female, it doesn't matter, because it is. And
the other person can say, "You're so needy."
Right, and then
what's wrong with you?
And that makes the other person feel weird and needy. And so there's that guilt of not meeting the needs of our partner, or there's the disappointment in our partner that they're not meeting our needs.
Okay.
So I believe so a lot of people want to be on the same page all the time.
Oh, I see where you're going. Okay.
And you just and I think both partners can when you realize that you'll never very rarely be on the same page at the same time, then that allows both parties to go, time out. I hear, I'm using your language, I hear that you're wanting to have more sex. And I may not have an answer why we're not, but I'm willing to talk about it.
Good. Okay. So that's good. So I think it's important too to talk about there are different phases in our lives and different phases in relationship. When something is an issue from pretty much day one on, I think that's a big, huge red flag. You think?
I agree.
But, I can remember when I was pregnant, some women, when they're pregnant, some women get so horny. I hear.
You said horny.
I said horny. But I was the complete opposite. So, I did not even... It was not. And then right after I had kids...
So you're saying you didn't want to have sex.
I didn't want to have sex. Right. And then after I had kids, I was so, when they were little babies... I was so tired and so depleted and so exhausted.
All right, so let's back up real quick. So
I didn't want to have sex.
So when you're pregnant and you didn't want to have sex, was it because you didn't feel...
It hurt.
Okay, it hurt. Okay, it wasn't about feeling attractive or...
Oh, I didn't feel that either.
Or attracted, or sex hurt for you.
Yes.
And so you told your practice husband...
Right.
That it hurt, and then... Of course, he made him feel bad because he was hurting you.
Okay.
I'm writing this script. And then when the children are born, then you're exhausted. Mm-hmm. Okay.
In that sense, my ex was really a saint. I mean, he was really good that way. I mean, he could really, he didn't blame me or nag me or whatever, because I guess maybe he saw, how much I hurt or sensed, how exhausted I was. But
that's awesome.
Yeah. So there are times, I mean, like you said, we flow, right? We're not always on the same page. As a mom, I felt like life went from black and white to color. And if you're not as old as I am, think of going from color to HD when my youngest was like 5. And that's when I kind of started feeling like a woman and a sexual being again.
When your youngest was at 5?
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a lot of years.
I mean, it's not like we didn't have sex in between, but
yes.
I didn't feel like I was fully myself because I was not exhausted anymore.
All right, and so here, this brings me to another thought, is in relationship, a lot of people try to be what they were at the very beginning of relationship.
Oh, yeah, yeah. So that's another pattern, right? So I always call it the rabbit phase. Right, when you first meet, when you first meet and you're in love and you just can't get enough of that person. So there's always the rabbit stage, and the rabbit stage can last
minutes.
God forbid.
Hours.
God forbid.
Days.
Oh. I always tell people that if their rabbit stage wasn't satisfying,
sex is not what's holding this relationship together.
No. And some people are sexual beings and some people really aren't.
Nothing wrong with either.
Right. Some people have a higher sex drive than others. So our rabbit stage lasted for a long time. Oh my God.
Yours and mine?
Yeah. Was it at least 5 years?
10.
No. It lasted a long time. It was really awesome. It was awesome. Num num. But,
back on track.
Back on track. Sorry.
Get out of the rabbit hole. Leave the rabbit hole. Leave the rabbit alone for a second.
So good. When you've been in previous relationships where you've been judged for your sexuality, whether you were, you didn't have a good enough sex drive, or your sex drive was just, they thought it was over the top, or, your boundaries were like crazy, or somebody judged you because your boundaries were so small. I said small. Anyway.
I really tried. I'm like, there's a joke, and censor.
Okay, so being with a partner whose sex drive is and whose boundaries are close to yours is so healing. It's so beautiful. It's so
it makes you
freeing.
Not feel like the word I used to use was deviant. Deviant
or frozen.
Yeah.
I mean,
not the Disney show.
No. The other kind of frozen. Yeah. Right? So there's so much judgment in the United States around sexuality. So at the Brennan School, our whole second year is about sexuality and healing any sexual woundings that you have, so that
the Brennan School is...
Oh, I'm sorry. The Barbara Brennan School of Healing, which is a 4-year licensed baccalaureate program for energy science. It's the only one in the world. And I went and I did that program versus getting a master's in counseling or social work. And because I wanted to help people in a different way, I didn't want to have a therapeutic environment. So at the Brennan School, we spend a whole year just talking about sexuality and healing those places sexually that have been hurt. And people who were caught masturbating when they were growing up and judged. People who had very strict religious beliefs. around sex and sexuality, people who were taught that sex was bad or wrong, or it was your job, and it was so. So I'm sitting there in a room with 100 people, right? And one person gets up and tells a story of how they were hurt, wounded, whatever, sexually, something happened and it was bad and it made them feel bad about themselves, and literally people went down like frickin' dominoes, like one after the other, either telling their stories and crying or just sobbing and in such pain around sexuality and how we judge ourselves for, being too small or being too big or penis size, boob size, having, wanting too much sex, wanting not enough sex. People got up and had been sexually molested and so confusing for people, especially for young children that are sexually molested and are given orgasms, and so they're feeling good, but then they find out how wrong and how bad it is. And there's so much stuff out there, women who've never had orgasms, and gosh, I wish we could just heal the world sexually, because it's such a beautiful opportunity. Making love is a beautiful opportunity to be vulnerable and intimate and have pleasure and give pleasure, and so many people can't find that place, and it makes me really sad. It makes me really sad for them. Yeah.
So?
I'm so sad. Sorry. It's just, yeah. It's a place where so many people struggle, and honestly, before I walked into that room and those people started going down, I didn't think I had any sexual woundings or sexual problems. I'm like, what? Like what? But boy, whoa.
All right, so the couples out there, what can they do to start healing some sexual, not necessarily trying to heal their sexual wounds, but
trauma.
But don't. I mean,
no, it's not their job to heal that,
and that's a huge long process. But,
yeah, and you don't put that on the other person. Your partner is not your healer.
But
how do they help? Listening, talking. They want to talk, and the other person needs to have an open mind. And we've met so many people that have very different sexual ideas and boundaries than our own, and we embrace them with
open arms. And a couple times we're like, oh my God.
What do I do now?
Which is okay, yeah.
Yeah.
But it also, it started conversation with us too.
Huge conversation with us. Yeah. Because we were both told we were too much or whatever. And where did you want to go on our first trip?
Oh, really? We're running
Hedonism! Hedonism! We are not running out of time. We haven't been to hedonism. But he wanted to go to hedonism. You are not editing this.
Who does the editing of this?
No, stop. I mean, people need to see.
I didn't know what I was asking for.
Right. So I think your story is really, really cool around that, because you had been told that you were too much or whatever, and so you think, okay, well, people like me go to hedonism, and I thankfully said, can we try something a little less extreme?
Which was way over the top for me.
So tell them how our days would go. So we went to this resort, and it was an adult-only resort, and
I survived.
It was tops optional. That was it. I thought it was a European style resort. I didn't see it as anything.
Right, and else. I went topless.
So tell the stories. Come on, because they're funny.
Run out of time. We'll talk about it next time.
No, we're not running out of time.
So basically, every day was a roller coaster. So I would get triggered.
What would trigger you?
Different things.
I can't be the only one being vulnerable here. You're teaching.
So,
we get there the first day.
we get the first day, and I'm like, oh, we're at a... Is this what you're talking about? Where I said, I'm in my mind, I'm thinking this is supposed to be topless, and no one was topless, and so I'm looking around the pool, and I'm like, wow, no one's topless. This is really wild. And then I'm doing a 360, turning around, and all of a sudden I get back to where my soon-to-be wife is, and she's topless.
Then what happened?
He only went topless. And then everybody at the pool kind of looked up at her, and I'm like, oh, maybe we're at the wrong resort.
And?
Everybody started taking their tops off.
There you go. They just needed permission.
Yeah. So I'm like hyperventilating, but not.
Anyway, we found out this resort used to be a resort kind of like hedonism. And so people were still showing up thinking it was the same thing. So we met people that talk about the things that we learned. We learned so much. We didn't know anything.
Yeah. Well, we had no idea that there was a lot of swinging involved, and so
the lifestyle.
So instead of going, oh my God, and running away, we actually started just like major conversations with people we met, and they saw that we weren't judging. You know, it was a very just education, and it was wild.
The power of being curious, which was one of our previous podcasts. We were really curious, like, what do you do? Like, why? And why? Why do you do it? And and what pleasure does it bring you? And I mean, it was so fascinating. And we found that there was a soft lifestyle. What was it called? Soft swing and swing. And the 3 white rocks in the yard.
Oh my goodness, yeah. So I had to take all the white rocks out of my yard. No, really, no.
And they would have these games.
Oh, God. Yeah, guys, just here, I'm going to ruin, spoiler alert. If you ever go to these places, do not play the games. They're for people that don't hear these words. They're for those that haven't listened to me saying, don't play the games. Yeah. Don't play the games. All right.
So every morning, we would have to start, how would we start the mornings, remember?
An hour and a half conversation of me going,
all the stuff that happened the day before that he was still processing. Oh my God, it was so funny. And then we would go out and we would get our cabana and it would all begin again. So you can thank you, Da Vinci. Thank you, Da Vinci. So you can have You can have lots of fun with your sexuality. You can talk about it. You can heal these places. You can have great sexual relationships in your
text even.
Sext.
All right. So you've been listening to Jay and Cindy sitting in a tree. KISS. Or